Hey y'all, my name is Tanner Stringer. My PDGA number is 106858, and this is my spring of 2020 in the bag. I throw all Trilogy, primarily dynamic discs, but I got a little bit of latitude and a couple of west side discs sprinkled in here. I just really like the brand. I'm from Kansas, but I'm going to college out here in Tennessee, but I still really like to rep Trilogy and just let everyone know how great of a company it is. So no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into what's in my bag. So to start off with, we're going to start off with my putting putters. You can't really play disc golf if you can't putt. And I, about a year and a half ago, switched to the Classic Burst Wardens. I got a pair of them. I don't know what the difference is between the two of them. I putt with them interchangeably. I'm a spin putt / push putter, so I kind of have a modified one. And the Warden for me just goes really straight. It has just a little bit of dump on it on the finish, so it'll finish left, even on putts, especially from outside the circle. So I pretty much use my Wardens from tap-ins all the way out to about 75 feet. So I really like them. I really like the Classic Burst plastic. It's got a little bit of give to it, but it's not too soft either. So really great putters. Highly recommend you try the Warden out. It's just an amazing disc. And going on to my throwing putters, I carry 3 different molds, and then two of them. So I'll go ahead and start off with my most understable throwing putter. I have a Moonshine Deputy. The Deputy for me is I can release it, with just a tiny bit of hyzer, and throw it at maybe about 60 to 70% power, and it's gonna fly straight, but then it's gonna finish to the right for me, but it's a nice smooth finish to the right. So if I just kind of want to come in on a landing and just smoothly finish, this is what I'm going to throw. Really like it in the woods, just a very workable disc, feels great in the hand. Then from there, I have my Wardens. So I love to putt with the Wardens, but I also love to throw the Wardens. The Wardens for me are just a dead straight flying putter. They feel great in the hand. I carry one in Lucid and one in Moonshine. I found that generally the Lucid for me are just pretty much dead straight, slightly less stable than the Moonshine Warden. But I throw them both. Honestly, I just kind of like having both in the bag. I think I probably throw the Moonshine more. But overall, just 2 amazing discs. They feel great in the hand. They fly dead straight. I'll throw these from anywhere between 200 and 300 foot shots off the tee or in the fairway. I trust them. They feel great. Once again, if you have not ever thrown a Warden, please go pick one up and throw it, because it'll do wonders for your game. Enough with bragging on the Wardens. Next, probably one of my favorite discs of all time is the West Side Discs Harp. I carry it in 2 different plastics. I have one in BT medium and one in BT hard. Okay, so this medium one is my older one. It's a little less hard, the BT medium plastic. It's got a little bit of give to it, so if I want it to just settle near the basket and not really roll or skip much, I might throw the hard or the medium plastic. But generally, I throw the BT hard. It just feels great in the hand. I primarily throw it for sidearm up shots. I got hooked on it because Ricky threw him while he's at latitude, and even though he's not there, I just really learned that being able to face the basket while I'm approaching it really does a lot to help me just gauge the distance and really put it close. Really within probably 200 feet, I feel like I can put it within the circle 75% of the time or better. The Harp saves me an incredible amount of strokes, and I just can't say enough about it. It just feels great in the hand, both sidearm and backhand. It's reliably overstable, but not too overstable. So once again, the Harp, if you haven't tried it, go try one out. Moving on from my putters, I'm going to go into my mid-ranges. Currently, let's see, I think I bagged 6 different mid-ranges. I'm going to start off with my most overstable and then move to least stable. So, the Justice. I firmly believe that everybody should have a Justice-like utility disc in their bag. The Justice, I think, is probably the most overstable mid-range on the market, but it's also one of the most utilizable ones as well. It's got a great feeling for both sidearm and for backhand. It's nice and flat, and it's very comfortable in the hand. So I'll throw the Justice for really any type of utility shot that I just want to make sure I either know it's going to finish right for a forehand or left for a backhand. So really recommend a Justice. Then a step down from the Justice, I have my Lucid Verdict. The Verdict here is just, it's basically a Justice, but just not quite as stable, so I can really more or less use it for throwing it off the tee, you know. So I'll throw this Lucid Verdict up to 250 to 280, maybe 300. Generally, I'll step up to a fairway driver if it's 300. But the Verdict, very underestimated disc, but I think it's probably one of Dynamic's best mid-ranges on the market. So this one's really pretty. Probably can't see it, but it's got some nice burst in there and everything. Really pretty. So then from there, I have the Truth. I carry both an EMAC and a regular Truth. So the EMAC Truth is straight to slightly stable, so it's going to fly dead straight for me, and then just have a nice smooth finish to the left. This is in Lucid Plastic. And then I have a Biofusion regular Truth or a Pre-Mac Truth. This one's just dead straight for me. It's basically a faster Warden in that if I throw it just with a tiny bit of hyzer, it's going to flip up to flat, and then it's just going to finish flat. Maybe slightly to the left, but I can also work this one to the right. This one's kind of beat in. But just a very utilizable mid-range. I can throw, you know, between 50 to 80% power, and I can work it on lines both in the open and in the woods. Really recommend one of these. And the EMAC and the regular Truth, at least in my opinion, pair very well together. Then a disc that, well, actually I'll use that one last. I have a Fusion Suspect. So basically, some people, you might wonder why I'm carrying a Suspect and a harp. I generally like to throw the harps for sidearms. I don't throw them backhand very often. I basically throw the Suspect for a harp-like shot, but that's backhand. So I can throw this one sidearm, and I can throw backhand, but I really just like to throw the Suspects backhand. Or I have found here lately that I like throwing the Suspect if I want it to be a lower line. So say if I have to get under a low ceiling or something, instead of throwing a harp, I'll probably throw a Suspect. It just seems to glide on a low line a little bit better. Then lastly, I have an Opto Fuse. So the Fuse is a disc that is in my bag currently. I'm not for sure if it's going to stay in or not. But the Fuse is essentially a faster Deputy, the mid-range version of a Deputy. So if I pop this on just a little bit of hyzer or flat, it's going to glide straight, and then it's going to finish to the right, just like the Deputy would. And that's something that I've tried to build my bag with, as you know, I have my putters, one that will finish to the right, dead straight, and to the left. In my mid-ranges, I want the same thing. I want to be able to have those same type of shots, but in different molds and in the different categories of discs, but to essentially be able to do the same thing. Fuse, really great disc though. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen Johnny McRae throw it. I don't throw it anything like he does, but a very underestimated disc. We'll see if it stays in my bag. There's some new discs coming out here that I'll talk about at the end of the video, but I really like the Fuse, and I would recommend it. Moving on to my fairway drivers. I carry a Opto Explorer. This one's pretty cool. It's got this little duck stamp on it. This is from shout out to Ducks Flying Discs in Wichita, Kansas. Really like this one. This is my favorite Explorer I've ever had. It just feels great in the hand. It's a 7-speed, so it fits I have pretty small hands. Fits my hand really well. The Explorer to me is just, it's straight with a left finish. It's not understable, it's not really overstable. It just is nice and straight. It's pretty much like a T-Bird if you haven't thrown dynamic discs. But just a great mold, feels good. This thing bombs. I'll throw this anywhere from 275 to 350, and honestly, it will fly a lot farther than that. You can almost throw it like a driver, but just a great disc. Next, I have a Lucid Vandal. So the Vandal is another one of the discs, one of the 2019 new releases. It's a great disc. It's working its way in my bag. We'll see if it stays in there. But it's kind of like an Explorer, but it finishes more to the right. It is understable, but not like really understable. But I really like it for in the woods if I want to throw something with a nice hyzer flip up at say about 75-80% power. Just get to flip up flat, maybe ride a little bit to the right, and then finish just straight to slightly left. Great disc. Next, I have probably my bread and butter. for fairway drivers, which is the Convict. I have one in Biofusion plastic and I have one in Lucid plastic. So I'll start with my Biofusion here. This is the newer of the two in my bag. So the Biofusion right now, this one's just pretty much it's like the Explorer, just 2 speeds higher. It's a 9-speed. It's straight and finishes to the left. But I like to throw the Convict over the Explorer for more of hyzer shots rather than like dead straight hyzer flip-ups. But Biofusion, really comfortable in the hand. I have a Lucid one here. This is my ace disc. It's my butter disc. I have 4 aces with it currently right now, so it's not coming out of the bag anytime soon. But just great in the hand. I know exactly what this one's gonna do. I can throw it on anhyzers, hyzer flips, hyzers, all kinds of things. Sidearms every once in a while, just a great disc. Then lastly, rounding out the fairway drivers, I have a Lucid Felon. So the Felon for me is pretty much like a Convict, just more stable. If you follow Eric Oakley, he bags I think about 100 of them, not really, but he does carry usually 4 or 5. And it's just a very utilizable fairway driver. I throw it both backhand and sidearm. Really good disc. So moving on, I have my fairway drivers, which currently right now I'm kind of beating a few in, so some of these won't stay in my bag, or some might come out. But I'll start with the least stable. I have the Trespass. This is a Lucid Trespass, which has been in my bag for going on 2 years now. So this one's very beat in. This is my Sky Anhyzer one. Hyzer flip up sometime if I need a very high or a very pretty high powered hyzer flip up in the woods. But the Trespass, as you're gonna find, is a very big staple in my bag. So this is my Lucid one, most understable. Moving up from there, I have a Fusion Trespass. This is kind of my money fairway driver right now, just for control. It's probably one of the farthest flying discs in my bag. But this one I love to use for just dead straight or hyzer flip up. So basically if I want a faster Convict shot, or maybe a faster Explorer shot, this is what I'm gonna reach for. Let's see, I have 2 more Trespasses in the bag right now. I do have another Lucid Trespass. I'm just beating this one in. It might stay in my bag for a while, but just a good stock run of the Lucid Trespass. And then I have the Eric McCabe Lucid X Trespass. So this is the most overstable run of the most overstable plastic. This is the 2018 run, I believe, of them. Just great. It's pretty much just a little bit more overstable than like a regular Lucid Trespass. So for me, if the wind's kicking up a little bit or something, but I still want to throw a Trespass, this is what I'm going to throw. Now moving on to probably my favorite release that's came out in the past couple years is the Raider. I carry 2 of them in the bag right now. Sometimes I'll have 3, sometimes I might just have 1, but I use it all the time. So I'll start with my newest one in the bag. This is just a stock run of the Fusion Raider. This is just one pretty overstable right now, so I'm just kind of working on beating it in. But then I have this red one. This has been in my bag for going on 7-8 months now probably. This one's a 168, I believe. But this is my money distance driver right now. I go to this all the time. If you ever play with me, I'm gonna throw this thing both sidearm, backhand, all over the place. This disc is just amazing. This is basically Dynamics version of the Destroyer. Honestly, I think it's better because the Raiders are very consistent in their runs. It just feels great in the hand. It is a pretty fast disc, so if you're new, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're just looking for a utility driver. But I like the Raider for anything from 325 plus. I don't have the fastest arm, so I understand that I don't always throw these as far as they can go, but I just understand the flight of them very well, and they feel really comfortable in my hand. So the Raider, can't say enough about it. Especially, I love them in the Fusion plastic. They just have a really good wear. The life of the disc is just amazing. Then lastly here, I have my Defenders. So I'm kind of learning how the Defenders work in the bag with the Raider. Currently right now, basically I use the Defenders if I want a more overstable Raider shot. So if the wind's kicking up pretty high and everything, and I just want to make sure it doesn't turn over and go too far right, then I'll throw a Defender. So currently right now, I have this old Page Pierce. I believe this is the 2017 Signature Series. Biofusion run. So as you can probably see, I don't even know if you can see the stamp on it anymore, but it's almost completely worn off. This flies nothing like a Defender. It does. But I kind of just keep it in my bag. If you've ever seen Jeremy Collings in the bags, you got to have a little bit of luck in there, and that's what this is for me. So Biofusion Page Pierce runs were just a really good run of them. Then my last two here, I have a newer Page Pierce Biofusion run. This is probably my money Defender right now. I can throw this into the wind, but I can also throw it for some distance. It feels good, both backhand and sidearm. A big difference that I would say is between the Raider and the Defender is the Raider skips a lot more. So in the woods, if I want kind of one of those skip shots, like as you've seen Paul McBeth throw a lot, he used to throw the Destroyers and now he throws the Zeus's on short lines, but he wants that sidearm skip out of it. I can throw this and it'll have a nice big flare skip to it. And then I have a Lucid Defender in the bag. This is just for those super overstable shots that you just want to make sure that they finish left. That's what this does for me. My last utility disc, I forgot about this one. This is the only disc that is not Trilogy in my bag, which is a D-Line FD. I really kind of want to try Fury out, maybe some other dynamic discs, super understable ones. I just haven't got the chance to do it yet. But I want to find a D-Line FD type disc in the Trilogy, but for right now this is what I have in the bag. This is what I use for rollers. It's just stupid understable. I can release it like on this type of a hyzer and it'll flip all the way over and almost turn into a roller if I throw it hard. But this is my roller disc currently. Lastly, I got some minis here. I have the Nashville Disc Golf Store pocket minis. These are really good. I like to use these out on the course for practice rounds, but for my tournament rounds, I have a mini. This is from a guy, I believe, up in Maine, but it's somewhere up in the Northeast. It's called Knack Mini. He makes these. They're made out of metal, as I don't know if you can hear that, but you can definitely tell they're metal. And he puts your name on the back, your PDGA number on the back. You can put a picture on the front. So I have an eagle on the front of mine. Eagle's my favorite animal. Also, it has my favorite scripture verse in Isaiah chapter 41. And it just kind of gives me just a good feeling when I step up to those putts. I want to make sure I make them. This is my good luck charm here. Just feel good with it. Lastly, I got a couple other things here in the bag. I have a dynamic disc water bottle. Got to stay hydrated. Got some towels up in the top. Some golf balls. I think I got a baseball in here somewhere. Yeah, so just a fun little fact. If you lose or if you get a disc stuck in a tree or something in a tournament by PDGA rules, unless they have changed here as of recently, you can't throw a disc at them. So I highly recommend carrying a baseball or something to be able to get those discs out of the tree. Unless you're a little bit smarter than I am and you have some type of pole or something that you carry around, but that takes up space. So besides that, I'm carrying the Commander bag from Dynamic Discs. This feels great on my back right now. I think I have about 25 discs here and it holds them all comfortably. You can fit them down here in the bottom section, the putter pouch. I like to have my utility discs here in the little flap, and you honestly can fit probably up to about 7 or 8 discs up top. So the Commander bag, it just feels really great. I've had it for going on about almost 2 years now, and it's not wearing really at all. So it's a great bag. So this is my 2020 in the bag. I did want to mention one thing before I quit here. There's 2 new discs coming out by Dynamic Discs sometime here in 2020, the Sergeant and the Bounty. So how I talked about with the Fuse, the Bounty might be, I'm expecting it to be a similar disc to the Fuse. But I think the Fuse is going to be a little bit shallower, so I'm really excited to try that out. And then between the Trespass and the Raider, the Sergeant's going to be coming out. I'm really excited for that disc to come out. I'm looking for the Sergeant to kind of fill a slot between the Trespass and the Raider, but we'll see if the Trespass stays in or not. I've heard some really great reviews about the Sergeant as well as the Bounty. So as soon as those come out, I'm going to try to get my hands on some, and I'll get to throwing them some. Maybe get to show them to y'all too. So that was my 2020 in the bag. Thanks for checking it out.